orange class. Hi, stepping stones. It's me, Miss Silver. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait to see you guys all again and give everybody a really clean and germ-free hug. I hope everybody's washing their hands as much as they can and doing coughing into their elbows and not on the people that we love. I've been on the road. I've been on the way to my mom's house so I can go stay with her. I'm still on the road, but I did just buy new plants for my RV. I already had one plant and I just bought another one earlier today because I need to repot my old plant, and I was thinking you guys might want to help me repot them. All right, let's get started. Wait, before we get started, anytime that you're outside in nature with a lot of open space, it's always a good idea to stop and feel our breathing. So let's, I'm gonna count to 3, and then on 3, take a really deep breath with me, okay? And then we're gonna let it go together as well. And we're gonna do that 2 times. So let's catch a really big bubble with our mouth. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it one more time, okay? Okay, so let me show you what I got going on here. Okay, there's a few things that you need to have ready before you repot one of your plants. You need a new pot, your old pot, which should have your plant in it still, some new soil, and this right here is like a saucepan you put underneath the pot, because some pots have holes in the middle, so when you're watering your pot or your plant, the water might just drip down from the bottom, and then your plant won't have any to drink. And so this little saucepan helps catch the water so that the plant can soak it up. So I have all of my new things, and I have Charlie. So I went to the local nursery and I had asked for some help on picking out soil, because even though I love plants and nature, I don't garden too much because I have a really big fear of worms, and most of my orange class friends know that already about me. So despite my fear of worms, we are gonna get my hands really dirty and muddy today. But because I'm using this big bag of soil, I won't be using any natural dirt or mud from the earth today, so I won't run into any worms. So this is like a perfect form of gardening for me. Here I have my old plant. This has been hanging in my RV for months now, and although it's very green and long-ish, it's not doing its best. And I can tell, one, because all of them should be like very fluffy and up like this, but instead they're kind of down. So that's one sign that tells me that my plant isn't doing so well. The other thing is that if you look closely, a bunch of brown and dying leaves on it. I picked some of them off, but it needs a new home. And by home, I mean pot. So it needs to be transferred into a bigger pot. And that way, all of its roots and all of the new leaves will have new room to grow. Because remember, plants are living things, just like me and you. And so if you need space and if you need room to grow, so do plants, because plants are living, breathing, and they have feelings just like me and you. So if it's feeling sad, let's make it feel happy. This is my new plant that I got today, called a creeping Charlie. I call her Charlie. And we are gonna move her into the pot that my old plant is living in, because it's a little bit bigger. And then for my old plant, I got a new pot. I also don't have a name for my old plant. So if you guys have any good ideas on what name I should give this, let me know. Because this one doesn't have a name. Her name is Charlie. The first thing that we need to do is take our old plant out of its old pot. And so to do this, I'm going to loosen up the sides a bit. This pot is already really loose on soil because it's been needing to go for a while now. But some pots, you need to loosen the soil around the pot so that the plant can easily just fall out without tearing any of the roots. For my plant specifically, I'm going to tangle my fingers very gently in to the vines and the roots on the top of the plants. And this way, when it tips over, everything is in my hand and nothing is gonna fall on the floor. Because I want to tip it over so that it comes out of the pot in one big clump. Okay? So you can see that the soil that the plant was living in kept the same shape as the pot. And if you look closely, you can even see all of the new roots growing, and they kind of just smushed down together in the shape of the pot because the pot is not big enough for it anymore. And so it didn't have anywhere to grow. And so it just all smushed and cuddled up together. But now we're gonna give it more space and more room so it's happier. And this pot, we'll put it aside so that we can use it later because we should always recycle everything. Usually people use gloves, but when I'm gardening, sometimes I like to get my hands dirty. But I'm gonna wash them right after, and then 20 times again today. Now that the pot is out of the plant, now that the plant is out of the pot, I wanna loosen up the dirt so that I can put it in a new pot. I wanna loosen it up. I just watered this plant a few days ago. I probably shouldn't have done this so early because the soil is really wet and it's all patted down together because the wet soil holds everything together. But if it was more dry, oftentimes I can usually just, brush it off with my hands and all the loose dirt will go off. But because it's not dry, I'm gonna be very gentle the entire time with it, very gentle. Because remember, plants are living things and so they have feelings too. So I never want it to feel hurt. I never want it to feel hurt. So I'm gonna be gentle with it. Okay, so the plant is sitting over here in the dirt right now. It's ready to be repotted. It's resting on the ground. And the soil needs to be broken up a little bit more, but before I finish that, I'm going to open this bag of dirt. I'm gonna cut this open just at the corner because I want to roll it up and use it again later. So I don't want to just rip it open like a gorilla. I want to cut it open just a little bit, only take out what I need so that I can roll it back up and use it again later. So I'm not wasting anything or making a mess. I'm not gonna fill this whole bucket up. Okay, so I filled up the bucket halfway. I have my little saucepan underneath it so no water or mud gets out. Right now, the dirt is dry. And as you can see, it's completely dry. So before I put my old plant into the new pot, I want to make a giant hole in the dirt right where I'm going to bury my new plant. I'm not going to bury it all the way, but I want to make a little snug hole so it fits nice and perfectly. I'll show you guys what I mean. So it's just a tiny little ditch, a tiny little hole right in the middle. I'm gonna shake my old plant out a little bit more to get it a little bit more loose. You see all the dirt dropping? And look how much, it's almost like it got hairier, right? But that's all the roots. They're all free and loose now instead of all clumped up in that tiny pot that was getting too small for it. So we want the roots to be free. I bet it's a lot happier now that it can breathe. I'm gonna gently place it into the hole that I made in its new pot of soil. And then I want to kind of bury it in. Now we're gonna need to add more soil, so it's gonna look shallow. I'm gonna add a little bit more soil. Now, we repotted the new one. Now we're gonna go work on Charlie. Charlie, if you remember, is my new plant. So if you're wondering why I named her Charlie, is because her name is actually called Creeping Charlie. And what that means is that when all of these vines get bigger and longer and they just start to grow, they're gonna creep and crawl onto any wall or fence that it's gonna grow nearby. So that's why this is called a Creeping Charlie. But we'll call her Charlie. So Charlie is pretty new, and she's in a pretty small pot right now. We're gonna reuse that old pot that I just emptied out. We're gonna make sure the sides are loose. When it's dry, it can easily fall apart. And then we got all these happy little loose roots ready to go into its new home. All right, just like the first one, we gotta put new soil in the pot. So now, we're ready to hang my plants. So before I go, I just want to go over some important things to remember about plants, and that's that they are living and breathing creatures just like us. They can also feel sad, and they can also feel pain, okay? They can be unhappy. So if you have a plant in your home, it's your job to make sure that they're happy and that they're fed and they have a lot of space and freedom and sunlight, just like you. I know you guys want all those things too. Not just these house plants, but all of nature, all of the plants, and all of the things that we love that are living with us on this earth. Always remember to be safe, responsible, kind, and caring whenever you can be with everything, okay? I watered my plants that I just repotted with you guys. And now I'm gonna go hang them up in my RV up there. I already have a hammock hanging in there. It's gonna go right above my kitchen. Maybe one day I will give you guys a tour of my RV while I'm on the road, and you guys can check how Charlie's doing. And I still need a new name for my old plant that just got a new red pot. So if you have any names for him, please let me know. And I miss you guys so much. I really do. I miss you guys a lot, and I can't wait to see all of you guys. Okay, I love you. Stay safe, wash your hands, and